Exactly. What were you
You
saying?
just reminded me of an article I read where they said we are not running out of food. What we are running out of is the ability to pay for it, and that is because money is it's imaginary. I mean, money is a man-made concept.
Yes,
and it gets
absolutely.
in the way of every aspect of everything.
Yeah,
especially in America.
Absolutely.
Man,
because
how do you just take over a plot of land?
The only times now that people are giving money is when they have a camera in their face, or they set up a pod, like, you know, a little tripod right now, and it's like, oh, okay, let me give this homeless man $1,000, you know, and but only because I'm gonna get 1 million+ views and get monetized off of it.
Man, that's sad. That's sad.
Yeah, but if they can edit the footage around that, actually giving the money, they'll do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sad part of where we are. You know what I mean? Because it's like you would think, like we talked about the contrary, where the person was saying like world peace. It would be boring if there was world peace.
That was one of my unpopular opinions, but I also kind of snagged it off of an online little forum. Was unpopular opinion. I think world peace would be boring as fuck.
It wouldn't though.
But in a sense of kind of like heaven, right? So if everything was perfect and fucking dandy, we would have nothing to fight for. We would have no cause, but also things would be peaceful and fucking perfect and great and fucking dandy.
But here's the thing: things wouldn't be perfect, but the imperfections would be perfect. That's the problem. Like, people think that this is the norm, but it's not.
I agree.
If that was the norm, you wouldn't think that way. So you gotta picture it. You know what I mean? We all say we want it, but you can't picture it. If you can actually picture
because what world peace is to me is different than your idea of it. Different from what I'm guessing your idea
that's
is.
That's what would make it imperfect. And that's what be so perfect about it.
I'm sorry?
We reject like perfect. I mean,
yes.
Adds drama to everything they do.
Yes.
And if you need any proof of that, look at any like quote unquote good relationship you've ever seen. It's like sometimes we get so bored with mundane that we add our own drama until there's a problem that we can go and solve.
Exactly, because you just want to spice it up.
Yeah.
You're bored. You know? I got it.
You sound like you had a little experience.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Not a damn thing.
Yeah, but that's a very we had a few unpopular opinions, and I agree with damn near all of them. Yeah. And pretty much all of them.
That's the thing though about like unpopular opinions is they're only unpopular because you didn't say them out loud yet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I was like, okay, this might not be the most popular opinion, but however, and you say it, and then you get that one person that's like, "You're absolutely fucking right."
That's all you need.
You are absolutely right.
That's all you
In-N-Out
need.
fries are trash. I was just afraid to say
That's
it.
all you need. Me personally, I think ketchup is overrated. I prefer mustard. Fuck off.
Ketchup is one of the worst condiments you can put on anything.
I prefer mustard over ketchup
when
any day.
When people walk into my work and ask to put ketchup on a sandwich, I look at them and I'm like, why?
On a sandwich?
On a sandwich. Like, you got ketchup?
No sandwich is good with ketchup.
Go
I don't
away.
know a sandwich that's good with ketchup.
None of them.
I'm going to do that next time I go and order a sandwich.
Oh, man. I don't know no sandwich good with ketchup.
I will just escort you out. Please, sir, you need to leave. I did want to say
real quick, though,
I will call the cops.
that the way you do realize by even talking about an unpopular opinion, that's opening up discussion. And that's the entire point is that, like, that's why these things seem like, oh, well, I agree with that. Because you're actually leading to a discussion, which is what we are so, like, opposed to with our society right now.
Yes.
To just point and say, this is how it is, and don't leave any room for anyone to say anything else. And by having these unpopular opinions, you're now having a discussion with another human being. And that is really the unpopular thing, is we just don't like to discuss anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. We use our phones for anything but a phone.
Right.
I mean,
you guys don't have conversations anymore. All you're doing is posting things, liking it, retweeting it, and not like that's one of my biggest unpopular opinions, and is the TikTok shit. Like, I'll spend hours on TikTok, but the thing that bothers me the most is when they take from like Facebook poster memes and you have people just like randomly just re-quoting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just certain shit where it's just
God, or even just doing the same thing. Yeah, just the same
over
dance,
and over again, the same
or
challenge,
or the same joke. Yeah, it's like, dude, come up with something original.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's like it's a lost art, and then it fucking breaks my heart sometimes.
It came and it went very, very fast. I said that in one of my songs. I made a song called Electric Weed, and I talked about how I remember back in the time when it was like you love to hear someone's voice. And now that's a rare thing because we're texting and everybody's on their phone. So a lot of times those phone calls aren't made anymore.
No.
And just hearing the vibration
more to you when you get a phone
call. But the vibration of a voice makes you feel a certain way.
Car warranty, right?
You getting a text message and it's just like your voice pop up in your head reading
you're reading it.
And your voice that's in your head.
Yeah. For me personally, I kind of read it in that person's tone in a sense, but I can only do so much,
Right.
It's my
not the same
rendition of their voice or whatever, or their mannerisms, right? And then when
I'm a very sarcastic person, so it does not read a text very well.
Yeah, same as me. And so like I'll try to like type it out in the way that I would say it, and people won't catch it as much. So when you're having that,
because everybody don't even read the text the same.
Exactly, and you can see like my facial expressions about it, and I'm just like, oh, but and I say something, and you're like, okay, I get it, and it's so much like better than a text interaction, or even a phone call is better than like a text interaction. Like if you call me and we're talking on the phone for a couple hours, like even texting, like I just here you go.
Yeah, you got the time, you got the patience to just be like, you could be like, I'm not about to answer that text right now.
Yeah. Like,
but when you hear a person's voice, it's different.
For me, like I feel like I have to come up with like not the perfect response, but like I like sitting there and having to come up with a response, and it's kind of hard instead of it just like naturally flowing out when I'm on the phone.
It's a totally different thing.
Yeah, because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it. Yeah. And I'm like, oh shit, what am I gonna? No, because that's lame. No. And then I end up just not responding.
Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like I'll think about that shit. I'll text you later. But hearing a person's voices give you a different feeling. You know what I mean? I truly believe in vibration is everything. So if you ain't hearing a voice, you're not hearing that vibration. It's just a phone, and you don't connect with that. You know what I mean? And that connection is lost. You know what I mean? So and a lot of people are just like, I was thinking, I was like, you know what? Remember when we used to have community? There's no community anymore. Neighbors don't even know each other anymore.
No, what the fuck is a block party?
I love that show. Community is a great TV show.
It is. I love that show too.
Yeah, me too. But neighbors don't know neighbors no more because there's no community.
Because your kids aren't going outside to play until the streetlights turn off anymore. And then,
they're inside playing video games. They're doing this, doing that.
Well, there is a sense of community. You just have to work a lot harder to get it.
When it used to happen naturally.
Absolutely.
It used to happen naturally.
Yeah, absolutely. It would have. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
100%.
I'm old school. I'll go knock on your door and bring you some biscuits.
Hey, neighbor. I brought over a cup of sugar.
I know all my neighbors, man. I be asking them all kind of stuff.
I think that's awesome because you don't see that often at all. Like, I live with my grandma, and my grandma and her neighbor, they've been neighbors since before I've been born. They've been neighbors for over almost 30 years. But the fact that they're so fucking close, and she's close with every single fucking neighbor, and she knows the entire neighborhood, and our neighbor can come over and bring over a bunch of cupcakes from a birthday party that they had just to share with us, and we go over and I made extra cookies. Here you go.
Yeah,
And,
here goes some avocados.
Yeah, or come over to the party because we're throwing a party. Of course, our neighbors are invited to it. You know, I love that sense of community, and like you said, it's hard to find nowadays because everybody's so like just one for all, you know, and just like I need to protect me and my own. Fuck you, you can't, you know.
The neighbors would come down to grandma's house and say, "Hey, we having a party. People gonna be parking on your street. Is that okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
now we don't get that
community
anymore. I pull up after work and my entire little cul-de-sac is taken up and I can't park anywhere, and it's like you got to be fucking kidding me.
I mean, we've talked about that here. We've talked about because we have our little cul-de-sac. We've talked about putting the thing and just having a whole cul-de-sac party. You know, put a barrier. Don't come in here
because you don't get that often. When's the last time you heard of a block party? It was like in the fucking 90s, right?
It's
like
been a long time.
Early 2000s. You don't get that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I heard you had a list of unpopular opinions.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and name off your list of unpopular opinions, just so we could.
One more. Let's see. Well, actually, we've talked about quite a few of them. Kind of worked them into the conversation. Like I was going to go with the internet is more detrimental to society than helpful.
I put social media on mine too.
Yeah, I think we all.
I think we've been saying that just in different ways. Anyways, is that it's. I mean, everyone's socially awkward now.
It's a part of the problem.
The same kind of connections.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's absolutely part of the problem.
It's nice to have
it's causing
the
social
world
anxiety
and like the information at your fingertips. Like if I don't know a certain thing or
the internet will tell you before the news
but I know the movie and I'm just like, oh, let me just it was this person, you know. Like I love that part of it, but like
social
you guys said,
media tell you something before the news will tell you. Social media have it before news happens.
I'm sorry,
but it's not reliable because it happens so fast.
Yeah,
there's so many times that they've rushed so hard to get something out there that they don't verify their
misinformed.
Exactly, and then that just spreads like wildfire, and next thing you know, you have QAnon and all these people.
Because it's catchier to say. It's catchier to say. You know, it's catchier to say the first thing that came out, or like, oh, that's the thing that caught my attention. Oh, did you know? Blah 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 blah, and then it just, like you said, it spreads like fucking wildfire.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things where it's like
Denzel said he said I can't
you know?
I can't remember the quote, but he said somebody asked him something about reading the newspaper, and he was like, I watch the news and I read the newspaper, but you know, every time I read it, I'm misinformed. Not quite in those words, but it was more like I read it every day, but I'm always misinformed. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's true, but also we aren't taught as people anymore to search for the valuable source, to look for unbiasedness in things. We used to be taught to be smarter about what we listen to and question things. And now they just want us to be more compliant.
That's a big part of the problem.
Like, take it with a grain of salt, right? Like you're supposed to take certain information with like, okay, do I trust this or do I not? Like, okay, this might be the right answer, but let me do my research. Like he said,
nobody does that.
Nobody does that anymore. Nobody cites their sources. Boom. All they do is they read that.
I'm reposting this.
The one fucking 5 million viewed article off of Facebook that's trending. So of course they're gonna share it because that's what they read, and they read it, and it's on the internet, so it must be fucking true.
They did that.
Not
Listen,
only does nobody checks their sources, but everyone claims that they do.
Yes,
exactly. That's the complete hilarity of it. Is that, oh, well, do your own research. It's like, why? You didn't.
Hey, listen, Vanessa Bryant won the lawsuit because the newspaper printed out and the news channels and they website, they put that crash out there so fucking fast that she sued them. And was like, how dare you show that crash when my husband died? No. And she sued them. But they all they wanted to do was get that shit sent out there as fast as possible.
Absolutely.
And look at how we look at that. Nobody remembers that she won the lawsuit against them, yet everyone remembers the crash. And that's what they're banking on.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, they don't give a shit if they lose a lawsuit. Here's some money. We just made a shitload more showing the crash.
Exactly.
Yep.
No, you're absolutely right. Yes.
And that's a big problem, because that's where we at, and that's what makes cause. It's just like I was just talking to my wife, and I was like, I remember a time where we was going through this conspiracy theory thing, and we would always research stuff, and it was right at the surface. Now it's not at the surface no more. You got to dig even deeper in the internet to get the truth, because on the surface is bullshit still.
Because it's just being,
and it used to be the information used to be right there. But now you got to dig so much further through the internet to get there. You got to go down the fucking rabbit hole now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
To get to the fucking truth.
Absolutely.
It's nuts. There's so much bullshit out there now.
I agree completely.
But that's also because the people creating the bullshit they used to feel like they had to hide. Now, since someone like Trump has been in office and he just says whatever's off the cuff and he gets no ramifications for saying these things, they're like, oh, you mean this whole time we could have just been saying we're Nazis and nobody gives a shit?
Yeah.
We could like thinly veil it and it's okay.
You know what I mean? Like, we're going to do this, and but pretend it didn't happen.
Right in your face.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're just, it's the same concept. We're just going to call it a different name.
Those were a good bunch of kids.
Well, we're still a member of the clan. I'm still wearing a white hood. You know,
I never understood. There's so many things I never understood. Like, clearly, we all know what a Klansman is. We clearly know what a skinhead is. We know what a Nazi is. But there has been nothing against stopping that. But the Black Panthers form and immediately just annihilated. Martin Luther King is talking about everybody getting together and immediately annihilated, right? Martin Luther King, Malcolm X talk about getting together, annihilated. It's crazy. But this exists and it still is there.
It's easier to control people when they're separated and they have something to fear.
Yeah.
When you have something to mutually hate, you band together.
We are literally.
And if you don't have something to mutually hate, then we will create something.
Exactly. And the government is so good at like dangling shit in front of us. It's like, pay attention to this, pay attention to this, pay attention to this, Don't pay attention to the man behind the
But we are in the 5 percentile. Okay. The problem with being in the 5 percentile is while they dangling that carrot, everybody is like, oh, give me the carrot. And we sitting here, you see about 6 or 7 of us saying, don't take the carrot.
It's laced with
but there's 1,000 of them that want the carrot.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's a part of the problem.
See, I don't know if okay, so I agree with that to a degree, or at least that's how I used to think. The more I'm kind of going beyond the surface of that, I really truly believe that there are more of us out there than this 5 percentile that you're saying, because it just seems to me that it's the louder people that are the ones taking the carrot, It's one person shouting it loud enough so 1,000 people hears them that I took the carrot, and you have the gullible people that will follow that. But the more I'm seeing, and thank God I'm seeing this, because I would just be completely depressed if I didn't see that there are really intelligent people out there. There are really good people out there.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying that
I don't think it's as low as you're saying, and I have to put that out there because that's how I felt. I felt like, oh my God, there's only 7 of us in the world trying to.
No.
It feels so low because people are afraid. Like, once you voice your unpopular opinion, you're chastised for it in a sense, and it's like you're pointing the finger as like a bad guy, and it's like, no, I'm not a bad guy. I'm just saying how I feel.
I can think for myself.
And now anybody who wants to, in a sense, agree with you feels some sort of obligation not to, because it's like that whole popularity thing in high school, oh, the fish sticks suck. Nobody likes the fish sticks. So you get that one popular girl that says it too fucking loud. Fish sticks are gross.
And nobody wants to eat fish sticks. So now
nobody wants to eat the
even though the
fish
kid
anymore.
really love fish sticks.
But you have that one kid that really fucking likes it and is like, hey, I fucking love fish sticks. I'm still gonna fucking eat them. And starts eating it,
and he gets treated fucked up. Yeah,
and that's the weird kid, and that's the funny kid.
That's the society we live in. You have
like 50% of these kids that are like, fish sticks aren't that bad. I kind of.
This is why I said 5%.
But they're too afraid to fucking say it.
5% may not be correct, but the reason why I use 5% is because we are way outnumbered. We are way outnumbered, and the 5% represents us.
I don't think we are.
In comparison to the sheeple, we are outnumbered.
It's just
it shows.
I kind of agree with David in a sense where he's saying, or it's just a louder thing. Like it doesn't necessarily mean
it's a louder thing. I really truly believe, and I have to believe this because I would be just utterly devastated and depressed and thinking there's no point to the world if there weren't enough people out there willing to learn, willing to do this. What I think is a better way of saying it, it's not that they're all sheeple, it's that they have been actively repressed. Yeah. Their education has been smashed. They've been taken all these programs that could have taught them how to think for themselves. They're literally, I mean, I really didn't want to make Democrat Republican thing, but I think you kind of guess how I'm saying what side I'm on. But there are people actively out there that are trying to repress people and keep them from getting educated. There are people trying to keep you from getting a college degree, whether that's by taking away your rights to have an abortion. So now you're stuck with a child, and you can't go to college now because you have a child, and now you didn't learn how to fight for your rights, and now we can take advantage of you. I think there's more of that out there than just people refusing to learn, and that's what's really important. Like if we figured out how to get this to them that's being denied them, I think we would have a hell of a lot more chance of taking on these.
He has a very valid point.
Yes, but on the same thing, it's like if you don't want to educate. For me, I'm like, if you don't want to educate yourself, man, you a lost cause, bro. Like I could tell you everything that I could possibly tell you, but if you don't want to take it in, what good is it? You dig what I'm saying? Okay. So my thing is, a lot of these people.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say a lot of these people don't have the knowledge, but they can also get the knowledge, but they don't want to even get it. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, but what you're talking about are the way our society is structured. Is we are praising people that are trashing education, making things that look uncool. Like we have the Kardashians that are literally famous for putting out a sex tape and then doing a bunch of nothing but looking good on TV.
Right.
That's now what people want to achieve. However, when they get older and they look back, they're like, oh, I didn't realize history was this cool. I didn't realize like math was this effective, and like you could do almost anything with math when you get to the higher levels. Yeah. I was never told this. I thought this was lame. I was told this was stupid when I was a kid. Where was somebody who proved this wrong to me as a kid, got me excited? If you have the right teacher at the right age to get you excited on something, that's the beginning of like you becoming this thinking person. Absolutely. And unfortunately, a lot of people do not have that.
No, I 100% agree with you in a sense, but a lot of kids aren't that lucky. You know, a lot of a lot of kids don't get that privilege of having a teacher that's so inspired and willing to teach other kids, like, let me fight the norm, because a lot of people are just doing it for a fucking paycheck, and I'm like, okay, well, I gotta teach this mass to kids and tell them the same fucking thing.
And that's another thing too, right there, is we're making the teachers
exactly
have to buy their own stuff, and they're already dejected too. I mean, they're suffering. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's the whole like going back to like the government shit, and then it's just like, let me break down the teachers, let me break down this, let me break down this, let me break down this, in order to get you guys to believe what I want y'all to believe.
Right.
And just shuffle you into this.
But you can't tell me.
It's so much easier to like have me think for you than to think for yourself, because
listen, y'all can't tell me that
a lot of people are just willing to turn their brains off.
You don't feel like one of the ants instead of one of the grasshoppers sometimes. You can't tell me you don't feel that.
I definitely do. That's where all of my depression comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the same concept. Yeah, because we have this, and for me personally, it's like, I know I'm an ant. I know I'm not a grasshopper. I know I'm an ant. But because I know I'm an ant, and I know that there's so many more ants
than grasshoppers,
I know we can band together and go out and fucking push and fight and create a better world for ourselves and for our future. However, because I know half of these people just don't fucking want to, because they're so complacent with where they are, that's what causes my depression. It's like I would want to fight but nobody else wants to fucking fight with me, or that's how it feels.
Yeah, and what we fight, and it's a lost cause because
it feels like one.
They're constantly watching that same channel over and over and over and getting the same. Their channel is louder than our words. That's why it's more of them than us. It's more. It's plenty of more ants. But all the ants just want to do the work and get the work done.
It's a lot of fear mongering, and it's just a lot of everything.
Yes.
It takes the right person to show them, is all I'm saying. And even if you don't feel you can do that to a big audience, I like to believe, and this may just be the naive positivity in me, I like to believe that there is something everybody can do to just, because you don't know how you affect other people. Like let's see, when I was in college, I started a photography club. I invited everybody. I gave people a place to just hang out, talk photography, talk art, whatever they wanted to do. But there was a lot of social aspects. I mean, we did we went to Not Scary Farm every year as a group. We did just different events.
That's
and I didn't realize exactly, I was kind of selfish in that because I've always wanted that. And I wanted that kind of camaraderie in school. So that's why I started it. However, coming back years later and still friends with some of these people, I've come to learn that gave them a safe place to then find their own likes, their own wants. I had a friend who was transgendered, and she came to me years later and told me, "Do you realize that was the only place in my entire life I could be myself and nobody even looked?"
Yeah, where they had a safe space.
We need that. We need people like that.
You don't realize how little things you do affect people in these grandiose ways that you can't even fathom.
Absolutely.
So, and that's why I'm I just want to be positive. I'm currently with a friend. We're trying to put together a charity that brings some of these art projects back to high schools that have been all, cut and neglected.
We should do a little. We should do a little a-thon on the podcast for their little charity.
Hell yeah.
We should do something like that. We need to collaborate on something.
Yeah, we'll DM you about that.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, we'll DM.
We're at the very beginning of this. We're still trying to get the initial funding together.
Absolutely.
Let's figure something out so we can do something.
We can definitely get a hold of each other about that.
Yeah, do a podcast-a-thon, and we celebrate y'all and help y'all try to get donations and all of that. Well, let's figure something out.
That was one of my biggest things. When you said about when you were talking right now about how you get that one teacher that just sparks it for you and gives you that little life, right? That was my music teacher. And that was his name was Mr. Fletcher, and I didn't even want to be in band. My mom threw me into fucking choir, and the choir teacher was the band director. He was for all of the musical classes.
Because they're all overworked and stretched.
Exactly. He was the one teacher for all of the musical classes, and because I was in choir my freshman year, and I played clarinet back in the 5th grade, once or twice, right? And he was like, "Oh, it's like riding a bike, once you know it, you just got to learn it again, and you get right back on it. It's not like riding a bike. I completely fucking forgotten I had to relearn everything." But with that being said, he also sparked my love of music because seeing his passion, and it gave me passion because I didn't want to do it. He was short on band students, and he needed an actual marching band, and he was like, "Will you just please do it?
Yeah,
you'll get PE credits, you'll get your language credits, just try it out." And I did, and I absolutely fell in love with it, and I fell in love with music, and I also in a sense,
felt at home. You felt good with
loved
the people.
that teacher and that community and everything about it, because I was this weird little outcast chick that didn't have friends, but because of that, and I went into band, I met all my little band geek friends, and still to this day are good friends with most of them, and just built that fucking bond.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do. So like music is a very important thing to me, but it was only because I was in high school and had somebody spark that for me.
Yeah.
That I found it out. If I didn't, I would have probably still been some depressed little fucking emo chick nerd kid, you know, that didn't have that, like, you know, I wouldn't have had that.
What you guys are saying is true, but it's true with a whole lot of things in life. You know, like I've always felt like I was different, but I felt like I was different. Being different made me special. Mm-hmm. I felt like I had a reason to be here. This is why I'm different. This is why I'm treated different. This is why I feel a certain way. You know, I always felt like I was special. Like I always felt like I was here for a special reason, not just to be here. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I felt out of place all the time. You know what I mean? But you meet these core group of people that understand.
You find your community and you find your tribe.
And all you want to do is make it grow and blossom.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yes. And we all ask each other, how come we can't get bigger? And we are getting bigger, but we just ain't big enough yet. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it feels like we could get close. We could make a change.
What were you saying?
So you know how people are always saying that, like, it took Trump, being Trump and showing success in the nasty things that he did that brought out all this hatred, all this evil in people that we've seen in the last couple of years.
Yes.
So if that's true, then it should take the right kind of leader to come forth and do the opposite.
Right.
Absolutely. And
I always argue with my friends who like say that I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in God. But yet I had a friend call me on that and said, you do realize you're saying you basically believe in the devil, but you believe that the counter can't be true?
Atheism, it does not mean you don't believe it. You believe in the devil.
It's not necessarily atheist, but it's more of like an agnostic thing where it's like I don't necessarily have a specific God and call him something. I don't have something to worship or look up to, but I know certain things aren't just like out of coincidence. You know, like there's got to be, whether you want to call it Mother Nature, whether you want to call it God, whether you want to have a name to it, have a name to it. But there's certain things on there, and if you believe in one, you kind of got to believe in another. Like I believe in dark energy, but I also believe in light energy, and if I want to call it that, I want to call it that. Yeah. But I don't have a name to it. So when you ask me my religion, it's like I ain't got one for you. I don't know what to call it.
And see, me, I believe in self. I believe that myself. I believe I'm a God. I believe that everybody's a God. But what a lot of people don't understand is they think I mean that I am the God. I'm like, no, I am a God. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And there's a major difference. Not only that, I also believe that the universe works in a balance. You can't have one thing without the other. You can't have left without the right. You can't have yin without the yang. You can't have up without down. So there would be no such thing as good if you don't have bad. You have to have universal balance, and I truly believe that, but I don't necessarily believe there's a big man in the sky controlling things, because I know for a fact that if I was the big man in the sky, there's a lot of things wouldn't happen.
I'm probably gonna rot. Like I don't think I'm going up.
I feel I need to clarify myself. When I'm saying I believe in the devil, I didn't mean like the literal, guy in a red suit with horns. I just meant in the evil that sometimes possesses man's evil energy. I think like you described it is more what I believe in.
Absolutely.
But it's so easy to get fixated on the negative part of that you have to remember. And like you said, there is a balance out there. So therefore, there has to be a countering good somewhere out there, even if you can't say it.
And people are so fixated on the names of it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you have to call it
about labels in general.
Absolutely.
We discussed that one time.
People are so focused on the labels of things that where it's like I just because you call it this, but I call it. Mm-hmm. You call it A, I call it B, but because I call it
tomato.
B, you call it a tomato, I call it a tomato. We have to fight now because it's the same fucking thing. Why are you arguing about it?
We both looking at these red things with seeds in them, but yet we're pissed off at each other because I like to say it this way: Yeah,
coriander.
Sorry,
it's
potato,
fucking cilantro.
You know what I mean?
It's
crazy.
But it's the same concept, you know. And I know you understand where we're coming from, but
yeah, I do absolutely.
Yeah, I don't never see. To me, I feed off energy. You know what I mean? Like certain people have a certain energy, and I'm drawn to that, and I attract a lot of people. You know what I mean? I know I have good energy, and I'm always trying to give that out because that's what I want back. You know what I mean? But I attract a lot of people, and some people is like us, and there's other people that aren't. And just to say that they aren't, that they're not my friends, because I got a lot of people. I know a lot of motherfuckers who voted for Trump. You know what I mean? But I just don't feel like I fall into the system. Like to me, the system is tainted. There is no. This is not a free democracy to me. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like I'm not going to conform. I refuse to conform. I am going to stick to my guns. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's a lot of people out there like me. We think the same. We're all free thinkers. And I love to hear somebody that believes something different, but still believe in what I believe in. You know what I mean? So I don't put that.
Well, you sound like you like discussion in general.
Yeah.
So
yes.
That opens up the fact that you like to listen to opposing beliefs.
Yes, absolutely. You know how much you could learn from an opposing belief?
Like we don't have to agree, but as long as we're able to have a discussion about it.
Yeah, you not get mad because I believe something different than you.
You know, like we don't have to have an argument. It doesn't need to be an argument. There doesn't need to be any yelling.
That's
like,
because it's a freedom. It's
you
freedom.
have your beliefs, I have my beliefs, as long as we can talk it out so I have a better understanding of your beliefs and why I want to put more faith into mine or not. You know, it helps. It helps have a better understanding. So yeah,
it's such a learning experience.
Of course, I'm then going to go to my friend and be all like, "Can you believe what this guy believed?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I said the same. Like, can you believe this shit? Like, see what he said? The fucking moron.
Yeah.
Did you hear what he just said? Oh my god.
Yes. There's certain things where it's like that. You know, that's where.
If you just listen, if you instead of arguing with the person to get them to validate you.
Yes.
If you just listen to the opposition,
I'm right, and just
listen, so much you could fucking learn.
Absolutely.
So much.
And that's where ego gets in the way, and that's one of the unfortunate things of humanity right now. Is we're just all egotistical people.
Yeah, man. A lot of people gotta let go.
That's what I said, and I agree with that. And I've said this so many times before, but I believe like selfishness is going to be our downfall.
Yeah,
it's such an easy thing.
Look where we at.
And if you're not willing to extend a hand out and help or discuss or talk or even say hi to your fucking
community,
neighbor, where are we going? You know,
community.
That's what it's all about. People are. And that's where the social media and shit comes into. Because of social media, you're stuck on your phone, you're by yourself, you don't give a shit, you don't want to talk to anybody else, or you do, but you can do it from a safe distance, you know. Like,
however, what's really cool about that is that good thing is that like the ego and the selfishness like that is also going to be the people that are controlling downfall. Because just look at Elon Musk with Twitter right now.
Yeah.
We are watching the beginning of a man burn up.
Yeah.
And I mean, as much as I don't like that as a, you know, saying I don't like that for a fellow human.
But it is nice to watch a man's downfall.
Just in general. Very satisfying if it's the right man.
Yes.
we live in a completely different world. Because, you know, we were discussing community and things like that. I remember if my mom wasn't home, the block watched me. You know what I mean? Everybody had their eyes on me. Now it's like I don't want nobody looking at my kids.
Yes, because with that being said, I feel like a lot of things in the past were overlooked or hidden in a sense where it's like, okay, well, you know, it's normal for Uncle Tony to touch you. You know, like, it's okay because Uncle Tony touched everybody, and it's like, no, like. I'm the only one that's speaking out about it.
Pedophile. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
What the fuck part of that you think is cool?
Then that's kind of what I'm saying, where like it does take a community, it does take a village to raise people, but a lot of people also understand the dangers of it as well. Of strangers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, I don't know if I necessarily want you watching my kids or want you being in this village.
Yeah. Yeah.
But luckily we've also reached a point where family isn't necessarily like blood anymore.
Absolutely.
Like it's acceptable to have non-blood family, whereas before you had to accept them regardless of them being an alcoholic, a pedophile.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll just be in that corner for Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, that's definitely changed. That has definitely changed, man.
That's one of the brighter
I think a lot of my
is
family is not blood. You know what I mean?
Out
like
of it. It's
a lot of it.
Absolutely.
You don't have to forgive somebody just because they're blood. Like you don't have to be cool with them just because you're related to them in any sense of the word. Like you have your found family for a reason.
I just feel like, you know, when you're younger, when I was younger, I'll give you guys an example. When I was younger, I felt caged. I felt caged because I was, like I said, I was always different and I knew that I was different. But growing up, you feel like everybody's pushing you to be like everybody else. So it was like I was caged up.
You have to fit in this box.
Yeah, you got to fit into this mold. And it's just like, that's why I always use the analogy, every time we go out in society, we got to wear this mask. Mm-hmm. Because if we show who we are, people would think we're crazy. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So you got to wear this mask. So when you hear somebody that sounds like you and talk like you, you're so freaking mesmerized by it that makes you nervous. It's like, I want to talk to this person so much, but will this person think I'm more crazy than they are?
Because I'm reaching out to them.
Yes, because you know what I'm saying? So absolutely. That's one of my biggest things, is because I'm like also, into that. Like, if
you'll be surprised at the connections that you make because for reaching out, and it's like, oh, I don't know, I'm nervous, but if I do, it's like, okay, I can be shot down, or I can make this amazing fucking connection that will outlast everything, or just
be totally incredible,
fucking rocket, you know,
right? Yes.
So what you just described to me is why representation is so important in media nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge comic book fan, and so like I've been collecting Marvel comics since I was a kid, and you know, from the 60s to the say 90s, every hero was a white hero. Yeah. You had maybe the occasional Black Panther, but every hero is a white hero.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they go out of their way to represent what the world looks like to them. And we have Muslim heroes. We have a lot of Black heroes. We have different degrees of white.
Native American.
But not only that, but you also have your disabled
everybody has their own representation.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see a kid who sees himself in that hero and the importance that has for that kid, and it's like you're saying how you felt you were in a cage trying to be someone else because that's what you felt like you were around.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as that kid sees something represented of him, like I remember seeing all these videos of these Black kids going to see Black Panther for the first time, and they've never seen a multi-million-dollar superhero movie franchise with all these black actors.
Yeah.
Like they had the token white guy in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so against the norm, but it meant everything to them.
Yeah.
And
it was
like,
the fact that they
you
put
don't
it out
realize how important.
As a hero movie. They put it out as a superhero movie. It wasn't just a black person movie.
It wasn't exactly.
You know, it wasn't a Medea movie. It was a fucking.
And if you think about it, technically,
this is a Marvel movie, but it's gonna portray a black character and a black superhero, and this is, you know.
Black Panther is the epitome of Spider-Man. Let me tell you why. It's because Stan Lee said Spider-Man was his favorite comic. And the reason why is because he was covered from head to toe.
And you don't know who
them kids had no idea who was in that costume, but they saw all them black people. Because if you look at Black Panther, you can't tell what's in that costume. You don't know if it's a black person or a white person because he covered from head to toe. Well, all they know is
you can tell by the way he moves that he is definitely black.
That fucking.
Oh shit! Yeah.
You got him there.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and Spider-Man was one of my favorites.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you're not the first person who has told me that. that's why they were cool with Spider-Man, and it's even cooler now that they have Miles Morales as a second Spider-Man.
Yeah.
American Black. Like it is just so. I don't know. I'm now. I can't understand why people are like, oh, you need to be reflective of how they were originally. It's like, no, all these characters came out from the 40s to the 60s, and it was only cool to be white by then. That's the only thing you could be accepted. So yes, it's cool that we can change the race of a person for a movie.
Yeah.
Why does it bother you so much?
Everything to those people.
Yeah, like me as a white person, I've had so many things that were able to represent me. But if I can see the joy of a kid, like just like with the Little Mermaid movies. The Little Mermaid was one of my favorite movies growing up. I fucking loved the red hair. Like I loved her just as a person, as a character, as a movie. It was one of my favorite fucking movies. But now seeing it portrayed in a live action film, but not only a live action film, you're not doing it with a white chick redhead. You're doing it with a person of color. Or you're doing it with a black chick with dreads. I fucking love that because seeing these little girls relate to her and like, oh my god, there's a princess that looks like me. Like I had that.
Exactly.
I had that. I was able to enjoy that. These other people weren't. So like I don't understand what the problem is. Like I don't understand
when
why
I
you're not
took
letting
my kids
these people...
to see Disney on Ice, I believe I'm not joking. I don't care what nationality you was as a kid. This is where they got it right. In Disney on Ice, they had something for everybody. It didn't matter what nationality you was. They had something for everybody. If your kid was black, Latino, Pacific Islander, white, they had something in that show for every single kid that they could relate to. You know what I mean? And that shit meant something. That meant something.
And the one show that does that,
well, Disney was always a little more progressive, I think, with that. Like they started having the different race princesses at least a decade before it became more norm.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. Also, I've watched Disney on Ice probably into my 20s, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't have kids, but I'm like, I'm still gonna go see that.
But to me, that shit was beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was like, I enjoyed myself as a fucking adult, and I was just like, they got something for everybody.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That was the whole point of it. You were able to enjoy it, but you were able to enjoy it through your kids' eyes as well. Because you saw their joy and their excitement of the first time. And, like, oh my god, that acceptance and, like, seeing it through their eyes is, I'm guessing, a whole nother experience.
Yeah.
Well, to a degree, because after a while, I'm like, oh my god, kid, just sit down and let me watch a show.
Yeah, like you're jumping too fast. I will kick you.
Okay, we get it. You're really excited, but
right?
Sit down.
Yeah. Where's his parents?
Who is raising this kid?
Yeah. Yes,
but like we were saying, that part of finding somebody that's like you, it's rare, but when it happens, it's crazy.
Magical in a sense.
I didn't really.
Can't describe it.
I listen. I was in my higher teens when I actually discovered that, because for the most part, I was just always this nerdy little different kid. You know what I mean? And even sports didn't. Even when I was in sports, and I was fucking fantastic at sports, it still never got me over that. The nerdy fucking weird kid. You know what I mean? I moved to fucking Orange County, and I found more kids that was like me in Orange County than I found. Yeah, like legit. Like, and it was just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Because it was like
you exist.
But what threw me off was it was a lot of people that didn't look like me that was like. You know what I mean? So it just kind of fucking. It's not always. And in my neighborhood, there was no white people. It was just blacks and Latinos. So to go outside of that, it was like fuck.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
No, I was saying I'm old enough that I was actually a nerd before nerd was cool. So there's still a little part of me that's very bitter that it's all of a sudden like the cool thing to be a nerd. I'm like, you guys used to Get on me for liking Star Wars when I was a kid, you sons of a bitches.
Bro.
Oh yeah, I feel the same way about like the little emo kid culture too. It's like I was always a fucking emo kid in high school. I was always a little punk kid in high school, but now punk is cool. Now punk is like
what he's saying.
No, but I agree.
It's
the same thing.
No, she's definitely right.
Legit.
It's certain subcultures that are rocketing to popularity, and it's like you used to beat the shit out of me for this.
No. Yeah. It was okay to be punk. I could be punk, but being a nerd, that was the low of the low.
Yes, nerd.
Shit.
But even like, okay, but think of that like nerd was your biggest thing. Those are the ones that like got beat up in school.
Oh, you know how many fights I had to have because I was selected as class president or ball monitor, and it was like I had to fight because somebody got pissed off because I was the ball monitor. I didn't ask for that fucking job.
Ball monitor?
It's like I didn't even ask to be that. I'm just a good kid in class, so I got chosen. It's like, now I got to fight. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, damn. Oh, I'm the class president.
All my life I had to fight.
Legit, I swear, man. And then you know what was fucked up? Like, I wasn't really a fighter, but I had a type of mom that was like, "You better not come home crying." You know what I mean?
So it was like I would be that mom.
I prefer not to fight, but I don't want to get my ass beat by my mama. So you know what I mean? It was like that situations. It was just like fuck.
You had to stand up for yourself. Absolutely.
Yeah, even if I got my ass beat, it was like at least I had to fight.
It's like certain subgenre, like certain little like subcultures, where you're like nerd, geek, emo kid, punk kid, whatever it may be. Where they were super unpopular, like the same thing, freckles. I used to get made fun of all the time for having freckles.
To me, freckles was cute. Freckles, glasses, and braces.
That might be cute.
It was. Ooh.
Freckles and glasses was the biggest thing I've gotten made fun of, and now.
And look who liked them, the nerdy guy.
Right? But it was the biggest thing. Was like always got made fun of for freckles. Like, ew, why are you spots on your face? You look like, you know. You get all of these fucking names, same thing with the glasses, and now you have people, or even like little fucking YouTube beauty influencers that are doing fake freckles and putting on the fake frame of glasses to look a certain way.
People put on fake freckles?
Fake freckles, it's a thing, I swear
to
God.
Fake freckles and fake frames, fake big frames of glasses, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, and it's this thing, and it's like, I got made fun of, yeah. I got treated like shit because of the way I looked, and now it's a popular thing.
Now people are faking it.
Yeah, exactly, and drawing it on their face.
Why would you fake freckles and glasses? That is totally. To be a guy who's like into that shit, that would be so fucked up.
Yeah, and then you bring a chick home and she wipes off her face and you fraud.
And she be like, she's reading in the bed without glasses, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? It's like, I thought you was a real nerd. You imposter.
What do you mean you have 20/20 vision?
You imposter.
Stupid.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, I got into my first fight probably for wearing a Star Wars t-shirt back in the 80s.
Man, I had to, dude, even when, listen, I had to go to school. My mom made a uniform for me in regular school. And then I got in private school, and people used to come up to the school and be like, oh, you got on the uniform. You think you special. So it was like always a fight. You know what I mean? Like, my mom dressed me like a nerd, and I was a nerd.
And it's like, I just have to. My mom made this for me. Like, I don't.
It's like, dude, come on, man. Look, I got on the cheap shoes, bro. Yeah. These are imitations, and you still want to fight me?
These are Payless.
You know what I mean? Like,
see,
chill.
I was also like a head taller than every other kid, but I hated fighting. So they would pick fights with me thinking I wouldn't, like, punch back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, you punched a giant enough, he's going to swing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Trust me, I had to fight some big-ass dudes.
Poke the bear. Figure out what happens.
Yeah.
Poke the bear.
They would think that it was a good idea to poke the bear. And let's just say I'd never lost a fight.
Yeah.
I didn't go looking for him.
Yeah, it was like I never wanted to fight, but it was like, damn, you want to fight me because I'm the ball monitor? I'm not in control of that.
Because you're slightly different. You're not fitting into the norm.
Yes, and that's exactly what it was.
Don't think like me. I'm gonna beat you into submission.
So popular to unpopular opinion is being a nerd is okay. Yeah. Leave it alone. Fuck off. You know what I mean?
Popular kids, peak in high school.
Listen,
Shitty.
when we find people like us, it is the most beautiful thing in this world. Yeah. To me.
I agree.
To me, because I feel like there ain't a lot of us, so you have to take action. Mm-hmm. In that sense, you have to take action because it's like, listen, I know more people like you. I'm sure you know more people like us. Let's have a conversation.
And then you get introduced to these people and you start making these fucking crazy connections. And it's like,
yes.
Wow.
Yes. And it's a whole different world. Mm-hmm. But I still feel like we're a small world. We just need to make it bigger. You know what I mean? And I you know what? I used to talk shit on the millennials. And the one thing that I give them is they ain't taking no shit. They feel like we do. They feel like, yo, listen, you're $1 billion corporation. I'm only making thousands of dollars. I don't want to fucking do that no more.
Yeah, what do
they taking a stand on that shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, we've been through generations and generations that didn't want to take a stand on the government.
And I mean, look at how politically inactive the youngest generation is right now. Mm-hmm. Like, we actually won we didn't lose as much as we thought we were, and we did gain in some, based entirely on young people voting and not giving a shit to answer the poll question so that it wasn't predicted.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that's literally why the last election happened the way it did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And once you get tired enough of it and you start to fight back, you look at the crazy things that could happen, like these amazing things.
Yeah. And so I always
stop giving a fuck about what other people think. Like, yes, fight for it.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if a lot of people just said, you know what, I don't give a fuck what you think. Man, talk about the world being a better place.
Exactly.
Wow. You know, like that, because a lot of it is that. Or it's like, oh, you heard this from so and so. Like your example was perfect. The most popular girl in school said, the fish sticks are nasty. So now nobody wants to fucking touch the fish sticks. Yep. But the one motherfucker that does is like,
the weird kid.
Yeah.
And is
that's us. That's us.
Absolutely. Well,
that's
eat
us.
The fish sticks. I don't give a fuck.
Hey, listen, I'm going to be that for
life.
Tartar
sauce, bitch?
I'm going to be like that for life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Until I find all my people. All of them.
until I find some more fish stick eaters.
You know what
I want to hang out at
yes.
the table.
Like, yes. And then I'll be like, okay, it's enough of us.
Yeah.
We can make some shit happen.
Yeah, we can make
you know what I mean? But until then, I'm eating my fish sticks.
All right, guys. Well, it has been an hour and a half we have been talking, and I think I need to get going.
Yeah. No, we appreciate it, man.
So much for calling in.
Thank you so much. Like, we didn't have a serious conversation here.
Yeah, I got a little
real
here.
I like to participate in stuff like this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you called in.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, we will be in touch, man. We need to do something with this charity. We need to get something really going here.
I'm going to launch it within the next year is what I'm aiming for. And we'll be in touch.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, all right, man. Appreciate you. Love you, brother. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right, guys. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that was a pleasant, that was a definitely pleasant conversation. I have plenty more, but guess what? I ain't telling y'all. Till next time.
Part 2, motherfucker. Tell us if you like this one.
So listen, we definitely had a great conversation. So we are not going to do sophisticated, complicated, or just hate it. We know you guys love that, but we're not going to do that.
That entire thing is based on, in a sense, its own unpopular opinion. Right?
Yes,
pretty
much.
Entire episode has been on opinions.
Yes.
So, you know what? We're going to leave it as it is. But we are going to turn it into a sophisticated no, right?
We're going to do some sophisticated no.
You got that song by Bishop. The first caller that called in does not like avocado toast. It's overhyped. And you know what? I kind of agree with him in a sense. I feel like it's Instagram food, and a lot of Instagram foods aren't the best.
So he gave us some instrumentals to hear. We're gonna listen to the one right now. So this is Dilla by the homie Bishop. Check it out.
Maybe.
Is it playing?
No.
I can't. Technical difficulties. Let's just go back and rewind it. Here we go. This is Dilla by the homie Bishop.
Let's edit that out.
The homie Bishop on the beat.
All right, you guys, as this rolls out, I just want to say thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and
remember,
always check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Don't forget about checking out our YouTube page where you can actually see us if you want to.
Pretty little faces.
But just want to say we appreciate you guys and we love you guys. Thank you to all the callers that called in. And as always, as we say at the end of the show, you make sure you keep your pinkies up and your dicks out. Peace, y'all.